Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Bill.
How are you, man?
I'm cold. How are you?
Also chilly. No walk today. I
What?
couldn't. The bed was too warm. I heard the pitter patter of rain, and I said I'm going to sleep in just a little bit. So slept in a little bit, and then got up and did some journaling, and here we are.
That's the same. That's the same for me.
Yeah,
And
but
of course, I take the
you
dog out.
you
I had to go out in it, but
that's true. And you have to go out because it's a school day, right?
I'm going out in about 15, 20 minutes.
That's rough, bro. I'm
I
not.
know.
I'm not jealous.
First world problems, man. We're so beat down by them.
We are. We are indeed. How was yesterday?
It was good. It was good. I got everything I was supposed to get done, finished, but I also was a little distracted. I had a really cool meeting. I did a Find Your Why, which exercise with a friend of a friend's business, as a favor for him, and those are always really cool. I love taking people through that. And, good morning, Michelle.
Good morning, Michelle.
But yeah, I love doing that. So that's probably the highlight of my day yesterday, because that book really does have a nice framework. It does tend to bring clarity to people who are really looking. So,
Yeah.
by the way, yeah, I got most of my stuff done, and what about you?
Yesterday was an interesting day for me. I got to show somebody some new tech, which is always like fun, right? A friend of mine had never seen Loom before, and so he was stuck in something inside of his CRM, and I said, "Well, let me just send you this video real quick." He was blown away. He was like, "How much do you pay for this?" And I was like, "I don't actually pay anything." And he's like, "This is going to help me and my team so much." And I was like, "That's." It's always nice, right? When you can actually interject some software that helps people get more done, right? There's a lot that wants your time and wants your focus and doesn't really help in the grand scheme of things, or maybe help minutely. But there's some software out there that really helps in a big way, which is huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is very cool.
I had a interesting networking call. A friend of mine, Neil, introduced me to this person who was kind of the head of business development for Bank of Texas, and she recently left that. And her husband are now living on like a 24-foot sailboat, and they're just kind of going up and down the East Coast. So they bought it in Florida. They went all the way up to Maine. They're back working their way back down to Florida because they're going to like charter like dive trips and stuff like this off of it. And she's building a side business and really it's not even a side business, a business around creating content. Because she was going to go and kind of help people develop business development plans, which I found really interesting. And she's like, nobody really wants that. And I was like, well, as the guy who talks a lot about like systems and processes and data, around selling, I can tell you that it's kind of a hard conversation because most people want that clarity until their activities and their numbers are under that microscope. And then they're like, oh, well, we don't really need this kind of stuff anymore. So she's been writing for people in the financial side of things because, and I know that stuff is really dry. There's a ton of oversight and there's a lot you can't say. And so she's kind of carved out a niche writing for that. So I'm going to get her and Melissa connected because, she needs some additional help, and Melissa's really good at making robots, readable. So,
She's a pro.
Yeah, she's a pro. If she should get paid more. Her boss is kind of a a hard guy to deal with.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's fun. I forgot to mention that I did also meet Brandon yesterday, so that was a really good connection.
He texted me. He was like, man, Jake's a good guy, and I was like, yeah. Confirmed. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was a good meetup. That was a good connection. We hit it off and had some good conversation. It was like an hour and 15 minutes later. We were like, oh, well, we both have other things to do, but we haven't stopped talking yet.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. He's dude is jacked, first of all, and looks exactly like Brock Lesnar. Like, I was in a networking group with him, and somebody else brought that up, and ever since then, I've not been able to not see it. So,
yeah, he's got the traps to live the look, and because I think I said shook his hand, was like, "Hey, good to meet you." And by the way, Brock Lesnar. And he was like, "I was like, John told me to say it." He goes,
Yeah, man.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, he's a super solid guy. I really like Brandon a lot. What
He didn't know about the show, or like he was kind of like, "Oh, okay, where's that at?" So
I am
no,
so great.
Never mind. That was somebody else. I'm sorry. I'm crossing wires there. There's somebody else who didn't know about it that I thought should have. Brandon knew.
Okay.
So,
I was about to say, I mean, I don't think I'm that bad at marketing my own stuff. I mean, I'm not the best at it for sure, but definitely not the worst. I talked a little bit. I'm in Quentin's group, who's been on the show, and posted in there about trying to build kind of like an engagement pod inside for LinkedIn, and got some good response off of that. So I'm going to build a Slack group because I have an interesting idea, because I think that in eventually in these groups, people begin to not pull their own weight, right? They're just taking and taking and taking, and they're not giving back. So what I want to do with a Slack group, right, is I'll invite everybody to the Slack group, and then there's an expectation, right? So this might go up in flames, but I think this is a cool idea. Everybody gets assigned an emoji, right? So then whenever someone is like, "Hey, I just posted something," right? There's like the total amount of like engagements of like people committing to that, and then you kind of break out, right? So like for instance, like I could be, the mountain emoji, right? So then it becomes really, really simple at a glance to see who is engaging and contributing to everybody else, and you can track and make sure that everyone's pulling their weight.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
If you get a bunch of C's in there, it'll work like gangbusters.
Come on, man. Everybody's familiar with the emoji stuff these days.
I know, but holding people like for it to be that, or strengths finders people who's high on responsibility. Those people will nail it, because I have assignments for social media and different things for different organizations I'm a part of, right? It's part of Quirk. I'm supposed to be doing certain things. Part of BBN. I'm assigned to post on certain days for BBN, on behalf of BBN, things like that. I just miss it because it's not that it doesn't matter to me. It's just that the way my brain's built, unless it's like in a certain type of calendar or a certain setup, like my system, I'll miss things that are super important to me. It's just they're not the most important things to me, right? So I think that's where you just have personalities, and that's why certain people. I think the other part of that is if they're getting a whole lot from the group, they'll be a whole lot more motivated to give back to it also.
Yeah, that's fair. And that's and I think it's kind of one of those things that you get what you good morning, Ann. You get what you put into it, right? So, if we have 15 people in this thing, or whatever it is, and everybody is like being thoughtful and engaging in the right and not right, because like you see some of these pods and they go bad where people are like, "Oh yeah, absolutely, you're the best," and it becomes just kind of this insert all kinds of blue commentary here kind of deal. But like when it's real, it's good, right? And so I don't know.
Yeah, sure,
it'll be interesting to build out. Good morning, Gabriel. Man,
yeah, I have maybe 2 genuine pods I've been a part of, and they were fantastic to be a part of. See,
yeah.
Look, and
look at that. And hold this man accountable, because he just told you that he'll forget stuff.
Yeah, that's not the point. It's got to go in my system. It's not the accountability part. I was just discussing my misgivings, and I think right as you popped on, you said hi. I was talking about how John's starting a group for LinkedIn engagement, and I was telling him even things that I'm assigned to for social media I miss, just because it's different for different personalities. But some people just jump right on it.
But actually, yeah. I was about to make a comment that you could go back and do it later, but so much of the algorithmic push is based upon like initial timing. Engagement, which is kind of goes all over me. But okay, I
know it's tough because not everybody can be around all the time. It's just especially exactly. Like you and I, we don't like. Our goal is to not be around all the time.
Absolutely. So I think I think that means that for the group, I need to put in some people who are like super focused on just being like social, right? They've kind of like planted that flag that LinkedIn is like their platform and that's all they're hanging out at. We're going to need some people like that. Jake, you make mistakes. I didn't believe it either, Ann. I really didn't. I thought he just had it all figured out.
And then he started hanging out with me every day.
Oh, now I get it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. He has a great facade. Okay. Very nice.
Gabe, you can absolutely be in the group, buddy. You were one of the people that I was going to reach out to about it. Man, so I was scrolling through my LinkedIn feed, trying to get my feet back under me on that platform, and Gabe's shows are legit.
Yeah.
Like yeah. Because I'll see them in the feed, but I'm normally kind of scrolling through and stuff like this. And then it's, because like I know they're long and I don't really like to watch video. I'd rather read content. So I'm like, cool, I'll come back to that. And then I don't. But I was scrolling through yesterday and like his graphics are legit. And like the engagement he gets on his show is fantastic. Gabe, you're killing it, dude. I'm blown away, man. That's so awesome.
I know. In fact, if I'd had the time of night when he puts it on is right smack in the middle of like my kid time. Like it's when I'm dedicated to it. So otherwise, I'd probably be as religious as he is on watching the show. His shows are great. And I was in a small group before COVID with him in person. It's how we met through Lyle, where we had like a verb your values type exercise, and he had such good, like thoughtful feedback to everybody's commentary and stuff that I was like, I got to hang around this guy some more. He's awesome, man.
Yeah, I because like I saw it and I was like, man, like the intro looks solid and like nice movable graphics, and then I was like, the one that I saw had like 60 something comments on it, and I was like, what? Like this is crazy. This is awesome. It's nice. Whatever you're doing, man, you make it super lightweight and approachable, and that's obviously important in these kinds of things.
Like yeah.
And you can absolutely be part of the group, for sure. So,
so I don't know if you saw, I put a post up. I'm going to be on the Pirate podcast with Russ Johns over on LinkedIn.
I don't know who that is, but I saw that, and then I saw Gabe kind of fanboying that you were on that show, and he knows both of you.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I was cracking up. Yeah.
So you got school all day today, right? So you got to go in 3 minutes, right? Because it's raining, and in Texas, whenever there's like a spritz, people drive stupid. So be careful, man.
Add 200% to your drive time when it rains.
Yeah, pretty much. I have a lot of blocking and tackling to do today. That's going to be, something canceled. I had a 2:15 that got canceled, so I'll have that call with the mastermind group. We're super close to launching that. We had a call on Monday with this group, and then on Tuesday I was talking with my partner Jeremy about it, and I was like, we don't really need these guys to do this after like the first like 6 months. And he was like, what? And I was like, well, it's just a banking product. And he was like, well, and I'm like, man, we can find people who want this kind of product. We just have to build it and build it the right way. And he was like, oh, you just blew my mind. And I was like, I thought that we were thinking about this the same way, because neither one of us was like super happy with the affiliate payout. Right. And, so I don't know. Well, I mean, it could be way too much to build on our own, and we end up sticking there. But it is a thought, right? I mean, I was in banking. I kind of know what it's like. I've got a lot of connections there. I can find I can find a bank who wants to buy some paper, right? Especially if the paper is like good quality. So.
It's true. It's true. You can. The question is never can you, is should you, right?
I'm not doing this now. No. This is going to be like a 20, like end of 2021, 2022 kind of deal, because we got to build out the service component, which is going to take a long time, I think.
Yeah.
So, man. So
I'm going to do the school thing. I've got one call over lunch, and that's it.
How did you come to schedule a call on the day that you're supposed to be in school all day at lunch? Like is it just like when someone calls you and they're like, hey, can you talk on Wednesday at noon? Yeah. Are you just like,
no, they're like, can you talk on Wednesday? And I'm like, not unless you can do sometimes between 12:15 and 12:45. Okay, I'll take it. Okay. That's
Is
it.
that validating? Like in that moment that like someone is willing to like shove themselves into your like open spot, or should you just be saying no to that to be fully focused on the school thing?
Both of those are valid. Yes, it feels good. Probably not as good as it feels to you because I don't have that same like I want to be like I don't know like you've said before you want to be the what's his name, the guy that I can't stand, Grant Cardone.
Oh yeah, Grant Cardone. Yeah,
I want to be the Tom Joe nobody of marketing. Like I don't want my face anywhere. I want to be behind the scenes pulling the strings. So it is nice, but I don't really care about the like, oh Jake. Like when I used to go to LinkedIn locals and I would host and people were like, you're like the Jake Jordan from LinkedIn. I'd be like, bro, back no, I'm not. I'm Jake.
But in that moment though, you're like, yes, I am. Yes.
Well, yeah, there's like a small piece of me that's like, ooh, I'm famous. And then the whole rest of me goes, this is dumb. Stop with all that.
Yeah. Which is crazy because like we just passed that stuff up the chain, right? Yeah. Like I remember we're doing a charity bike ride and Noah was like I was riding with Noah and we go into this gas station and he puts in his card and it came out approved and he goes, oh, that worked, huh? And I was like, what? Are you serious? Yeah. And he was like, what? And I was like, was there a thought that it might not work? And he goes, hey man, tech breaks. And I was like, and I just heard that from like the leaning of like, he might not have enough money in the account. Yeah. He was just surprised that the tech worked. Yeah. I jumped to this conclusion.
I think I was fortunate enough early on like in my 20s to be around a lot of like quote unquote famous people to realize how was like jacked up they were, that like almost all of my fanboying and all of that world crumbled right in front of me. And I'm very thankful for it, honestly, because everyone I've met, like I've been at places like I was at a Brendan Burchard event and I think it was Tony, what's his name? Tony Horton, right? P90X guy.
Oh yeah, I know Tony.
Yeah. And I was with this guy and we were there. He's like, oh my gosh, that's Tony Horton. I was like, yeah. And so I go, and I like walk up to him. I was like, hey, what's up, Mr. Horton? How you doing, man? And he was like, good. You know, because there's only like 250 of us at the event. It was 200 of us at the event. And I'm just like start talking to him. I'm like asking questions about how he built his business, blah, blah, blah. And my friend like trails up like about 30 seconds later and kind of sits like right behind me. And I'm like, and we get down, he goes, dude, just straight up walked up to Tony Horton and started talking about business. I was like, okay. And it's his name, Tony.
It's only our perception, right? Like when you don't know who that guy is because you haven't seen, you know, Ab Ripper X, you know, and stuff like this, then he's just like a shredded dude and probably too tight of a t-shirt, right?
He's
but
5'7" and shredded, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I've met a couple of people who I really look up to, and it's always been nice because nobody has turned out to be like the bad version of that. You know, like, you know, when I met Jocko, he was just like a legit human being who actually lived everything he talks about in his book. Like, it was crazy. And then when I met Noah, he was like a super nice, warm guy and was genuinely concerned about like how like other people's weeks were going and stuff like this. And so it's really interesting when you can do that and it goes well.
It is. And I think most people in those positions wish they could be like that instead of the famous person. So
yeah. Gabe asked Tony Horton is the founder of P90X. He's also the guy in the videos. So
yeah, he's a fitness instructor that made it huge on TV.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome, man. We'll get out of here because you got to go to school and rain sucks. And everybody have a great day. Gabe, Ann, Michelle, thanks so much for being here. If you know other people who would benefit from our ridiculousness, please share this with them. It would be huge. And yeah, have a good day.
Bye, y'all. See you, Bill.
See you, Bill.